This MacBook Pro is supercharged by the M4 family of chips, which means...
I'm excited.
This is cool.
Oh, whoa.
Wow.
90 days. That's how long Apple had before running out of cash and declaring bankruptcy. The year was 1997, and the company that sparked the personal computer revolution was dying. Stock price, $3.30. Market share, 3%. Products, 15 different computer lines that nobody wanted. The board was in chaos. The CEO had just been fired, and Microsoft was crushing them so badly that employees wore paper bags over their heads at trade shows. But here's the twist. Within 18 months, Apple would launch a translucent blue computer that would sell 800,000 units in its first 5 months. Within a decade, they'd revolutionize music, phones, and tablets. Within 2 decades, they'd become the first trillion-dollar company in history. This is the story of the greatest corporate turnaround ever achieved, and the maverick who made it happen by breaking every single rule of business.
To understand the resurrection, you need to understand the death. In 1985, Apple's board made a fateful decision. They fired Steve Jobs, the company's co-founder and visionary. Jobs was brilliant, but impossible, mercurial, demanding, sometimes cruel. The board chose adult supervision in the form of John Scully, a Pepsi executive, famous for the Pepsi Challenge. For a while it worked. Apple's revenue grew from $800 million to $8 billion. But by the mid-90s, the magic was gone. The product disaster. Macintosh Performa, 15 confusing variations. Newton Message Pad, handwriting recognition that didn't work. Pippin Game Console, sold 42,000 units, needed 300,000 to break even. Quick Take Camera, couldn't connect to Windows, which was 95% of computers. Macintosh clones cannibalized their own sales. The market reality. Windows 95 had launched to massive success. PCs cost $1,000, Macs cost $2,500. Software developers abandoning Mac platform. Even Adobe, whose Photoshop was born on Mac, was prioritizing Windows. By 1996, Apple had lost $816 million. By early 1997, losses hit $1 billion. Market share dropped below 3%. Dell CEO Michael Dell publicly said Apple should be shut down and give the money back to shareholders. CEO Gil Amelio knew Apple needed a miracle, specifically a modern operating system. Mac OS was ancient, crashing constantly, lacking basic features like protected memory and preemptive multitasking. 2 options emerged. BOS from ex-Apple executive Jean-Louis Gasset, wanted $400 million. Next Step from Steve Jobs' company Next. Here's the irony. Next was a failure. In 11 years, they'd sold just 50,000 computers, but their software was brilliant, years ahead of anything else. December 1996, Jobs walked into Apple headquarters for the first time in 11 years. Wearing his signature black turtleneck and jeans, he pitched Next Step to the board. His presentation was masterful. Part technology devo, part vision statement, part seduction. Apple bought Next for $429 million. Jobs was back as an advisor, but everyone knew the truth. The prodigal son had returned, and he smelled blood in the water.
Jobs' return as advisor was like bringing a shark into a goldfish bowl. Within weeks, he was attending every executive meeting, questioning every decision, building alliances with board members, undermining CEO Gil Amelio. July 4th weekend, 1997. While Amelio was on vacation, the board held a secret conference call. When Amelio returned, he was fired. The board begged Jobs to be CEO. He refused, agreeing only to be interim CEO, ICEO, as he called it. His first all-hands meeting was brutal. Jobs told employees, "The products suck. There's no sex in them anymore. We're 90 days from bankruptcy. I'm going to be making some changes." The purge begins. Jobs immediately fired the entire board except 2 members. He replaced them with his allies, Oracle CEO Larry Ellison, former IBM executive Jerry York, and Intuit CEO Kenny Campbell. Then came product genocide. Killed 15 of 19 product lines. Eliminated the Newton despite $500 million in investment. Ended the Mac cloning program. Canceled dozens of software projects. Fired thousands of employees. His new product strategy fit on a napkin, a 2x2 grid. Desktop, portable on one axis, consumer, pro on the other. 4 products. That's it.
August 6, 1997. Boston, Macworld. Jobs takes the stage before 5,000 Mac faithful. What happens next would be called the day Apple sold its soul. We have to let go of this notion that for Apple to win, Microsoft has to lose, Jobs said. Then the bombshell. Bill Gates appeared on a giant screen above Jobs, like Big Brother in Apple's own 1984 commercial. The crowd booed, they hissed, some cried. Microsoft, the enemy, the empire, the evil, was investing $150 million in Apple. But here's what the crowd didn't understand. The real deal. Microsoft committed to Office for Mac for 5 years, crucial for business users. Internet Explorer became the default browser. Patent lawsuit settlements that were costing millions. Microsoft couldn't sell their shares for 3 years. Most importantly, validation that Apple would survive. Jobs later admitted, "We were 90 days from bankruptcy. I had to do something dramatic." The psychological impact was immediate. Apple stock jumped 33%. Suppliers started shipping parts again. Developers reconsidered abandoning Mac.
With financial breathing room, Jobs turned to brand resurrection. Apple's marketing was a disaster. Dozens of agencies, no consistent message, forgettable campaigns. Jobs hired TBWA Chiat Day and worked personally on every detail. The brief was simple: show the world Apple isn't dead. The result? Think different. No products, no specs, just black and white footage of revolutionaries. Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., John Lennon, Gandhi, Amelia Earhart, Muhammad Ali, Picasso. The narration, which Jobs himself almost recorded: "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." The campaign was a declaration. Apple was back, and it stood for something bigger than computers. While Think Different rebuilt Apple's soul, Jobs needed a product to save its body. He found it in Jonathan Ive's design studio, a prototype that looked like nothing else in the beige
from the
world of
marriage of the
computers.
excitement of the internet with the simplicity of Macintosh. Even though this is a full-blooded Macintosh, we are targeting this for the #1 use that consumers tell us they want a computer for, which is to get on the internet, simply and fast. And that's what this product is targeted for. I also means some other things to us. We are a personal computer company, and although this product is born to network, it also is a beautiful standalone product. We're targeting it also for education. They want to buy these, and it's perfect for most of the things they do in instruction. It's perfect for finding tremendous source of information over the internet, and we hope as you see the product it will inspire us all to make even better products in the future. So we think iMac's going to be a really big deal. Now, what should it be? Well, we went out and we looked at all of the consumer products out there. This is a picture of one of the better ones. And we noticed some things about them pretty much universally. The first is they're really slow. They're very slow. They're all using last year's processor. Very, very slow. Second is they've all got pretty crummy displays on them. They're generally 13-inch, a few 14-inch, and the quality of them is very poor. Apple designs all its own displays, so we're used to something much better, but these are pretty bad. Likely no networking on them. Some have it, most don't. Old generation I/O devices. And what that means is they're lower performance and they're harder to use, and most of them aren't so plug and play. And these things are ugly.
May 6th, 1998, iMac unveiled. The tech press was stunned. Orders, 150,000 on day one. First year sales, 2 million units. The iMac effect. Brought in new customers, 32% were first-time computer buyers. Inspired PC makers to add color and design. Proved Apple could innovate again, and generated $5.9 billion in revenue. But the real revolution was internal. Jobs had proven his methods worked. Simplicity over complexity. Design as differentiator. Control the entire experience. Premium pricing for premium products. Behind the scenes, Jobs was rebuilding Apple's DNA. The new culture. A players only. Jobs believed brilliant people only want to work with other brilliant people. He personally interviewed thousands, asking, "Why are you here?" Wrong answer? Fired. Real artists ship. No more endless development cycles. Set impossible deadlines, then meet them. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Comfort was the enemy. Jobs kept everyone slightly off balance, always pushing. It's better to be a pirate than join the Navy. Break rules. Think different wasn't just marketing, it was mandate. The Monday morning meetings. Every Monday, 9 a.m. sharp, the executive team met. No PowerPoints, no bullshit, just brutal honesty about what's working, what's failing, who's accountable, what changes today. Miss a meeting without good reason? You're probably fired. The product reviews. Jobs personally reviewed every product, every marketing message, every design decision. His feedback was binary, brilliant or shit. No middle ground. One famous example, the iPod prototype was presented. Jobs dropped it in an aquarium. Bubbles came out. Those are air bubbles. Make it smaller. Apple's resurrection offers 5 transformational lessons for every business leader. 1. Focus is everything. Steve Jobs killed profitable products because they didn't fit the vision. He understood that strategy isn't what you choose to do, it's what you choose not to do. 2. Design is not how it looks, but how it works. The iMac wasn't just pretty, it was functional art. Every curve, every port, every decision served the user experience. 3. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Steve Jobs didn't just change products, he changed people. He created a culture where mediocrity was intolerable, where excellence was expected, where the impossible became inevitable. Your culture is your company. 4. Sometimes you must burn the ships. Steve Jobs killed the clone program, knowing it would anger partners and customers. Revolutionary times require revolutionary actions. 5. The vision must be bigger than the product. Think Different wasn't about computers, it was about changing the world. When your mission transcends your market, you attract customers who become evangelists. In 1997, Apple was worth $3 billion. Today, it's worth $3 trillion, a 1,000x increase. But the real lesson isn't about money. It's about belief. Because in those dark days of 1997, when everyone said Apple was dead, one person believed differently. And sometimes, that's all it takes. The crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, they really do change the world. Thank you for watching, guys. It's bye for now.